In the face of overwhelming odds, when your world is crumbling around you, what does it truly mean to stand for something? What is the price of an unbreakable will? This is the story of a man who answered those questions not with words, but with his life. A scholar who became a warrior, a poet who became a symbol of courage for eternity. This is the story of Wen Tianxiang, the last pillar of the Song Dynasty. Our story begins in the 13th century, a time of immense prosperity and cultural brilliance for the Southern Song Dynasty. It was an empire of artists, poets, and thinkers. Into this world, in the year 1236, Wen Tianxiang was born. He wasn't born a soldier, he was a scholar, a prodigy. At the tender age of 20, he achieved the highest possible score in the Imperial Civil Service examinations, a feat that placed him at the very top of the nation's intellectual elite. The emperor himself declared him a talent for the ages. His future seemed limitless, destined for a high-ranking post, a life of comfort, influence, and scholarly pursuits. But destiny had a different, far more brutal path in mind. Looming on the horizon was a storm of unprecedented scale. The Mongol Empire, led by the formidable Kublai Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, the Mongol armies were a seemingly unstoppable force, sweeping across Asia. For decades, the Song had managed a fragile defense, but by the 1270s, the end was near. The Mongol war machine was at their doorstep, and the prosperous, sophisticated Song dynasty was on the verge of collapse. As the Mongol forces tore through the heartland of the Song, the imperial court was paralyzed by fear and indecision. Many officials advocated for surrender, for simply accepting the inevitable, but Wen Tianxiang was not one of them. He was a scholar, yes, but he was also a man who believed deeply in the principles of loyalty and righteousness, the very foundation of his Confucian education. He couldn't stand by and watch his world be extinguished, so he did something extraordinary. Using his own family's fortune, this scholar, with no military experience, raised a volunteer army of loyalists. It was a desperate, almost hopeless act. Imagine a professor gathering his students and neighbors to face a professional, battle-hardened army that had conquered half the world. It was a testament to his charisma and the power of his conviction. His ragtag force fought with incredible bravery, but they were no match for the disciplined Mongol cavalry. Despite some initial successes, they were ultimately overwhelmed. In 1276, the situation became critical. The Song capital was besieged, the child emperor was a puppet, and the court decided to surrender. Wen Tianxiang was sent as an envoy to negotiate the terms. But during the negotiations, the Mongols, recognizing his influence and unwavering defiance, betrayed the truce and took him prisoner. This, however, was not the end of his story. It was the beginning of his legend. While being transported north, Wen Tianxiang managed a daring escape. For the next 2 years, he was a fugitive in his own country, rallying scattered pockets of resistance, fighting a guerrilla war against impossible odds. He was no longer just a scholar. He was the living embodiment of the Song's will to survive. He moved from province to province, a ghost haunting the new conquerors, refusing to let the flame of resistance die out. But the tide of history was against him. In 1278, exhausted and betrayed, he was finally captured again. This time, there would be no escape. He was taken to the new capital of the Yuan dynasty, Dadu, what we now know as Beijing. He was brought before the great Kublai Khan himself. The Mongol emperor was not a simple brute. He was a shrewd ruler who understood the value of talent. He saw in Wen Tianxiang not just an enemy, but a man of immense integrity and ability. Kublai Khan wanted to win him over. He wanted this symbol of Song loyalty to legitimize his new dynasty. For the next 4 years, Wen Tianxiang lived in a prison cell. But his imprisonment became a different kind of battlefield. It was a contest of wills. Kublai Khan offered him everything: wealth, power, the position of a high chancellor in the new Yuan government. He sent former Song officials, Wen Tianxiang's own friends and colleagues who had already surrendered, to persuade him. They argued for pragmatism. The Song was gone. They said, "Why die for a lost cause? Why not use your talents to serve the people under a new ruler?" Imagine the psychological pressure. He was alone, his dynasty was destroyed, his family was suffering, and the most powerful man in the world was personally asking for his allegiance. It would have been so easy to say yes. It would have been the logical thing to do. But for Wen Tianxiang, loyalty was not a matter of logic. It was a matter of spirit. He refused politely, but absolutely. He told them a loyal subject does not serve to masters. His answer never changed. During these long years in captivity, he channeled his unyielding spirit into poetry. It was in the darkness of his cell that he composed his masterpiece, the Song of the Righteous Spirit, or Zhengqi Zhe. In this powerful poem, he wrote of the righteous energy, the Che that exists in the universe, an incorruptible force that manifests in moments of great heroism and moral courage throughout history. He saw himself as a conduit for this spirit. The poem wasn't just a lament. It was a declaration of spiritual victory. His body was caged, but his spirit was free, connected to the greatest heroes of Chinese history. He had found a way to transcend his physical defeat. Finally, after 4 years, Kublai Khan realized he would never break this man's will. He made one last personal appeal, standing before the emperor when Tianxiang was asked, "What is it that you want?" His reply was simple and unwavering. "I ask for nothing but a swift death." Kublai Khan, with a mix of frustration and profound respect, granted his wish. On January 9th, 1283, when Tianxiang was brought to a public execution ground in Dadu, a crowd gathered to witness the end of the Song's last loyalist. He calmly bowed south, towards the fallen homeland he had served so faithfully. He faced his executioner not as a defeated prisoner, but as a man in complete control of his destiny. His final words were a testament to his life's philosophy. Confucius taught us benevolence, and Mencius taught us righteousness. It is only by upholding righteousness that we can achieve benevolence. By studying the sages' books, what have I learned? From this day forward, I can say I have a clear conscience. When his body was examined, a note was found in his pocket. It contained the essence of his life. Confucius speaks of perfecting benevolence, and Mencius speaks of choosing righteousness. The ultimate end of righteousness is benevolence. By reading the books of the sages, what did I learn? Now and hereafter, I have nothing to be ashamed of. He had achieved what he set out to do. He had perfected his own moral integrity. When Tianxiang lost every battle, he lost his army, his freedom, his dynasty, and finally, his life. By any conventional measure, his story is one of total failure. But history remembers him not for what he lost, but for what he refused to surrender. His will, his loyalty, and his honor. He showed that true victory is not always won on the battlefield. Sometimes, it is won in the quiet defiance of a prison cell, in the unwavering conviction of the human heart. His story became a cornerstone of patriotic inspiration for centuries, a timeless reminder that even in the face of absolute defeat, the human spirit can remain unconquered. He is a testament to the idea that some principles are worth more than life itself. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the past. If you found this story as powerful as we do, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tales of incredible figures from history. And for more incredible true stories from history, check out my other content. Let us know in the comments what you think about Wen Tianxiang's ultimate choice. We'll see you in the next video.